So Dragon Quest is a series that is a JRPG and is extremely popular in Japan, but not as so much as in the West. It is so popular in Japan that they have a day dedicated to it, and a rule that Dragon Quest cannot be released on a weekday or no one would come to work, which is a mood, really. I personally got into Dragon Quest because of the artwork of Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame. I'm a fan of Dragon Ball and all its spin offs, and seeing the artwork was like, made my 9-year-old's brain think, is that a Dragon Ball game? Yeah, I know, I'm a nerd. Anyway, so my first Dragon Ball video game was Dragon Quest 9. I think Centennials of the Starry Sky was it called? And being 9 at the time, I had no idea what I was doing with a JRPG. I'm just like, ooh, fight. Man, I can't fight, dang it. And I unfortunately got rid of the game before I could finish it. So I got back in the series when the remake of Dragon Quest 8 came out. Journey of the Cursed King, I believe it's called. I don't remember the name. But this isn't about Dragon Quest 8. This is about the newest one that came out, Dragon Quest 11. So Dragon Quest 11 is the newest title in the series and it has been released in the West since Dragon Quest 9, which was about 9 years ago, I believe. Because 10 wasn't released in the West. I don't know why. I think it's supposed to come out of the West, but I'm not sure. Anyhow, was excited for this game since I got back into the series. Like any Dragon Quest game, you play a hero who's tasked with defeating a great evil. But then again, I think that's like all JRPGs. Probably. Now, with over 10 games in the series and many spin-offs as well, you could expect the series to get a little stale like some sequels do. Like, think of the Resident Evil series or Silent Hill. Like, some of the little details of it's not as good as the originals. So each Dragon Quest game has its individual stories and plots and characters, but some of them do refer to as the earlier games, like little bits of pieces here and there, but normally they're just like their own separate games, so you can jump into the series anytime you want. It actually brings a fresh take on the series because, like, you don't know what you're going to expect. Like, you're not going to expect the same cut and paste game as the original, and you'll always get new characters that you'll be attached to. Each character you do meet in 11 is actually very interesting, and it brings new life to your party. See, I was playing on normal mode, and I thought the first couple of mini bosses were a little bit easy, but that's because I learned how to play a JRPG, and so I knew that you had to grind a little bit in order to get the level that you're at. The only time I ever died was like halfway through Arc 1, and just to let you guys know, Dragon Quest 11 is divided into 3 arcs. The first arc, the second arc, and the after game, which is the third arc. Normally I usually die within the first few bosses. In Dragon Quest 8, I died the first boss multiple times. It's either the bosses are super easy to beat, or I knew that I had to grind a lot. See, the art style in this game is very beautiful and very thought out. Like, each has their own little details that makes you appreciate them. In the open world game, it's an open world game, but to a certain extent. It's not like Breath of the Wild in terms of open world, or Dragon Age Inquisition, which has like a lot of detail and like a huge open world game. The world is very big and has many places to explore, considering the series was smaller than the others. Since it was ported to consoles like the Switch or PS4, it was allowed to include more features into it. Like, if you compare the Switch version to the Japan-only 3DS version of Dragon Quest XI, the graphics are more advanced. The graphics are more like Golden Sun graphics on a DS instead of like actual 3D graphics like they usually do. And if you comparing the Switch version and the PS4 version, the Switch version has like a real live orchestra playing, while PS4 is like pre-recorded, like the usual like recording. Um, the plot of the story is very interesting. I won't tell the entire plot of the story because spoilers, but I can say that the MC11, he's baby. He's adorable, and I just want to squeeze him so much. I just love him. If you ask anyone who played the game, then they can tell you that he's baby. But then again, I only know my friends who played that game, so I think they're a little bit biased. I could go on about the characters, but I won't get this video done. All I'm saying is that Dragon Quest XI needs more love and a bigger fandom, since this game is amazing. The mechanics of the game are the same as any turn-based RPG with the menu option. Although instead of running towards an enemy in order to encounter it, like you do, like in Pokemon, like you just walk around and then boom, you meet an enemy. You you can cut it down with a sword in order to start a fight or shoot with a crossbow from far away. So you'll get the HP a little bit down before you fight them, but not a whole lot. You can also ride a horse in order to go to a place faster, as well as a little forge that you can make your weapons better or make new weapons. Like you can make your armor, your weapons, your shields, accessories, all of them more advanced than they were. You don't have to keep buying and buying. Although you do have to find your materials in the wild, so you gotta keep an eye out for that. Like in 8, you control a ship in order to get to other places as well. You can use zoom in order to go back to any other place that you were at. There's also another mechanic in the game that's new, but it's a spoiler, so I won't inform you because you have to play the game. I could probably also get into the characters. So the characters, there's about 8 characters in total. So, but one of them is like not till the like middle part of the game. So we have the MC, which is 11 in this game, and he has like these special powers, like most of them do, and he's mostly a swordsman. So he uses regular swords, great swords. I believe that's all that he can use. I haven't played the game in a while. And then there's Eric, who can use swords, knives. I believe that's it. He's a thief, so his abilities correlate with his like thief class. And then there's Veronica. She's like a mage, so she mostly relies on magic, which like means like she has spells, which is like they have Crackle, which is like that ice shooting thing. Frazzle, like which is like a bunch of fire. No, that's Frizzle. My bad. And then she has a twin sister named Serena. Serena is more like a healing sort of character, which means like she has a great number of healing spells. So keep her in your party because she'll help you a lot. And then there's Sylvando. He's also a swordsman, whips, and I think he can use fans. I'm not sure, but he's the extra dude, you know. He's very extra. He has a number of spells that relate to like his like circus class. And then there's Rab. He's also a healer. He has more healing spells than Serena does, so after you get him, you might want to have him in your party. And then there's Jade, who's more of a martial artist who doesn't have many. She actually doesn't use many. She actually doesn't use any spells. And that's it for the main party up until a certain Act 2. Other than that, that's the main characters. The main villain is called Mortigan, and he is mean. Oh, I sound like a girl. By mean, I mean he's evil. So the monsters are like, they have added new monsters, but they also kept original monsters. Like, you know, there's slimes, and she slimes, metal slimes, and all that. But they also added a couple of new monsters for the bosses and all that. Let's see. Some of them are more humanoid, actually, but also some of them are not. Like, one of these characters is like a humanoid witch character. She's one of the bosses, but I'm not going to explain how you fight her. Personally, I would actually play that game again, and I'm not usually the type of people who would play games again after I beat them, unless like they really interest me. Although one complaint I would have about it probably would be the leveling up system. I don't know why, but Usually when I play one of those JRPGs, I usually get up to level 30 and then I can't do anything else. But for some reason I was able to get up to level 50. I don't know if it's because, like, spoiler alert. So during one part of the game, like, you just gain 10 levels out of nowhere. Not that I'm complaining or anything, but still. End of spoiler alert. Oh, and another mechanic of the game that I forgot to mention. So, like, in Dragon Quest VIII, you would have, like, that pep-up system where, like, you would gain tension until, like, you could increase your attack, like, tenfold. So instead of, like, the pep-up system, like, they have in 8 and 11, they have, like, these special move things. So you would need to get your character pepped up. And then you can, like, perform one of the special moves, but most of the special moves require 2 or more people. Let's see, because, like, there's this one with Jade and 11 and Serena, where Serena was playing music and Jade and 11 were dancing, and they had, like, a little special move that increased some stats. The backstory to it is, like, very complicated, and it's always interwoven into make it a bigger plot. It's like nothing happens by accident in the game. It's always connected, which I always find interesting because it's like the butterfly effect. Is the best way I can put it. It's like one thing happens, and then the next thing you know, another thing happens way in the future. There's also time travel in there, which I don't know what to think about it, because time travel trope, I don't know. Is it that much used in video games? I don't play that much video games unless they're on handhelds. Yeah, I don't like console games that much, even though I have a book ton of them. Anyway, so the time travel trope is very weird, but I won't explain it because it's like spoilers, and I want you guys to play it before you come back here. And after a while, I might make a follow-up video, but I am not sure because I like people to talk to me about it. You understand? Dragon Quest 11 is like basically one of those games like you can pick up at any time and you'll automatically know what you're supposed to do. And I find that very helpful because I'm the type of person who would put a game down and never play it again for like a year or something. And I'll be lost and I'm like, oh, dang it, I gotta start all over again, and it sucks. But not with this game. Like, you know exactly where you left off because well, Dragon Quest is known for, like, talks to your party. Well, I think all JRPGs, you can do that. I don't know. You guys have any suggestions for some JRPGs? Just let me know in the comments below. Although I'm so sad that it's, like, such a small fandom because I really want to watch some fan edits or read some fan fiction or look at fan comics. So if I have to build up this fandom from the ground up by myself, I will do such a thing because why? This fandom needs more love and attention that it rightfully deserves. And trust me, I will do it. Well, then again, my friend is also part of that fandom. Well, that's all I have for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, my little nerdlings, and be very nerdish. Bye!